as I mentioned at the top of the programme, Hamas has now released its proposition for what a ceasefire might look like. Break down for us what they're suggesting.
Well, basically what we're talking about here is a sort of behind-the-scenes negotiation where one side comes up with its proposals and the others say, well, we agree on this, we don't agree on that. Then there's more negotiations will go on. And eventually they might hammer out some kind of deal. Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, is meeting, as you said earlier, with Israeli officials this afternoon to discuss this new Hamas proposal here, which is basically a three-pronged proposal with a ceasefire deal which is due to last for each three prongs for 45 days each. That's 135 days or 4.5 months in all. The first part of this deal is for the release of all prisoners that are being held by Hamas in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, about 1,500 in all, including 500 who are Hamas operatives who have been jailed in Israel for committing crimes against Israel. So that's going to be pretty difficult to negotiate with the Israeli authorities. It'll be on a case-by-case basis as far as the others are concerned. Basically women, children and the elderly who were captured on the 6th of October and who are the principal prisoners that Israel wants to get released right now. That will also be accompanied by a break in the hostilities by Israel in the Gaza Strip. The second point of this three-point plan will then be the reconstruction of Gaza and the release of the remaining hostages, basically male hostages, soldiers who were captured by Hamas on the 6th of October will be in the next batch of prisoners to be released in exchange for Israel completely stopping its invasion of Gaza and withdrawing all its forces from there. And then the third point of this deal, another 45 days here, will be for an exchange of the remains of those who are deceased, notably soldiers or the hostages who have died in captivity, who will be then negotiated. Their release will be negotiated with the Israeli authorities. So that's the plan that Hamas is putting forward, that is being discussed this afternoon between the Israeli authorities and Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State.
And as you've already suggested, certainly a number of aspects of that proposal aren't likely to receive a warm welcome at all in Israel.
Well, that's true. And as I said before, this is going to be a quite long, drawn-out negotiation, I expect, because basically, if this plan is accepted, it would leave Hamas in power in Gaza. That's a no-go for the Israelis. It would also allow Hamas to rebuild its military capabilities. That is also something that is a no-go as far as the Israeli authorities are concerned. And Israel has said all the way down the line here that it's not interested in ending this war. What it is maybe willing to do, and we've already seen it several times already, is to pause the fighting in order to exchange the prisoners that are being held or the hostages that are being held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, 150 released in the last 3 prisoner swaps that took place in exchange for a ceasefire for a few days. That, I think, is something that Israel would be still interested in doing. But there is growing pressure within Israel itself to get these hostages released from the Gaza Strip. So it's not easy for the Israelis. But what they don't want to do is to stop this war and let Hamas rebuild its capacities and all of this to start again a little bit further down the line.
All right, Philip Turle, thank you very much indeed.